Veve has given us the opportunity to make money, collect what we love from the biggest IPs and brands in the world, and the success is amazing. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't be coming up with a plan on how to succeed further, actually understand when to do certain things, when to take profits, and when to just let it run. So today, we're going to figure out how you can make a plan and best stick to it. So let's get started. Welcome in everyone, my name is Andy and I appreciate you taking some time out of your day to come and watch this video on the channel. Just before we get going, if you are enjoying the content and you want to support me further, you can hit that subscribe button, and if you want to support me even further than that, you can join the membership. A plan is something I always talk about in my videos, about sticking to your plan, being convicted in your plan. I say it in the comments all the time when people are telling me to buy and sell stuff, and I always want to make sure that a plan is set in stone. But without actually knowing what to plan and how to actually plan, you might not know what's best to do and what's best to focus on. So I'm going to go over 5 different points today for you to focus on to make more profit, stay in the lane that you're wanting to stay in, and be more convicted with what you want to do. So the first one is buy and sell orders. If you've ever done stocks and shares or crypto, you'll understand what buy and sell orders are. Basically a level or point that you're happy with buying the shares at. So for example, if something's $100 and I'm okay with buying it at 99, I'll put a buy order at 99 for X amount of shares or X number of dollars. And once it reaches that point, it will buy the shares for me. So just like that, with Veve Collectibles, you should be putting buy and sell orders for yourself. Buy orders meaning when something reaches a certain price, that is what you're convicted with buying in at, especially if you're going to be mass buying or just something you're holding for the long run. And if it doesn't reach that point, then that's fine. You move on to the next collectible. And the sell order is when you're happy with selling and when your brain actually accepts that this is an okay point to take profits on. By doing that, you become more convicted in what you're actually doing. You understand why you're buying at a certain point because you've done the research behind it, and you understand why you're selling at a certain point as well, especially if things run up the way you're looking for them to. If something doesn't reach the price that you're not willing to sell or buy at, then that's okay. Maybe you just have to wait a little bit longer, or maybe you have to change your buy and sell orders for what you see fit. But by doing this, maybe writing it down and having it somewhere that you actually see, or repeating it over and over again, you're going to understand where you set those prices, the risks you're willing to take, and a lot more. This has been one of the best things for me. I know a lot of other people have been doing the same, where they're setting a price that they're okay with something buying at. Especially when something's new in the market, there's a lot of fluctuation. And if you're buying in just purely due to FOMO, you could lose out on quite a lot. And if you're buying into something that just doesn't really have that future, then again, your sell order might be just a bit too over ambitious. This is why doing research and having those points for yourself, especially in the beginning, is going to be the best way for you to actually move forward and be convicted in what you do. Second one is more to do with trading your way to certain things, and that is breaking down each step into smaller bite-sized chunks. Like anything in the world, you could tell someone you need to go and make $1 million by the end of this year, and they would absolutely panic and they would never be able to do it. But when you tell someone, I need to go from $100 to $150, that makes more sense, and that is a lot more feasible than something from 0 to 1 million. You have a starting point, and you also have something that makes more sense in your own brain. So if you're wanting to build up your collection, build up your vault, even for something like Todd and 4 partner statues right from the get-go is going to seem quite overwhelming. It might actually be so far out of reach, your brain just cannot accept that this is the case. So by taking things back and maybe working backwards from what you're wanting, okay, so if you're wanting to get a Todd, it's costing about 12,000 at the moment, but you know you've got 150 right now. First start on getting to 200. So we aim for 200, and then we figure out what steps we need to take in order to make those 50 gems of profit. By doing so, you're making it easier for your brain to actually accept the challenges that are facing it, and you can actually move forward without being stuck in place like a lot of people tend to do when they're aiming far too high for the things that they're trying to do. For example, in my 1k to reso at the moment, reso I believe anyway was about 22k when I last checked. Might be different now, but I don't know. I am not aiming for 1k to reso right away. I'm aiming to get 1,500, 2,000, 2,500 and move from there. Now these things take time and these things develop as I go forward. And although I will eventually get to reso, it's going to take a lot of planning in order to do so, and a lot of dedication as well. So by setting those goals a little bit smaller and not as aggressive as going from 1k to 24 or 22 right away, then you're going to make it easier for yourself to actually accept the challenges in front of you and tackle the obstacles head on rather than panicking and just doing nothing about it. The next one is keeping X amount of gems. So in your plan, I always believe you should have a certain amount of gems in your vault at all times, whether that's for drops, whether that's to take advantage of discounts that you're seeing, or whether that's just to buy stuff that you really like when it comes onto the market. The market changes very quickly on Veve, and still, because it's a closed ecosystem, everything happens within the app and nothing really external takes anything away from it. So by keeping a certain amount of gems in your account, whether that's for cash outs in the future, whether that's for buying, selling, or anything like that, I always feel it's important to have your base level of gems that you're wanting to hold. Now in the past, mine is 500 gems, but that's quickly becoming out of reach for basically most things that I'm wanting to get. And therefore, I'm probably going to up mine to a couple K in the next few weeks. But you have to be comfortable with what you're setting yours at and make sure you don't go under that so that you can take advantage of maybe some of the deals that are coming on the market or some of the things that you're wanting to get. One thing I will add onto that plan is to always keep the gems for the drop. I understand you're very unlikely to get the drops now, but it's still important to keep the money to actually go for it. Even though there are some things maybe deterring you from doing so, I would still recommend at least trying. You never know what one drop can actually do, and it can completely change your vault valuation and liquidity that you have to use and spend on other collectibles. The fourth one is subscribing to the channel if you're actually enjoying the content. If you feel you're learning something here and want to learn more about the NFT, crypto, and marketing space of this new Web3 sphere, then I would love for you to be a part of this family, and you can hit that subscribe button down below. The fifth one is tax on each collectible. Now, this is a little bit different, but it still should be a part of your plan. When I had my interview on The Thing to Donnie, they asked me about my plan when it came to it, and we talked about the taxes that you take when you sell your collectibles on the app. For instance, for right now, you've got Marvel and Disney that are charging 8.5% per transaction fee, whereas something like DC is only charging 2.5%. This means in the beginning, when you're trading your way and you're trying to move yourself up, 8.5% takes quite a cut of your profits, especially if you're not getting something on an amazing deal. And therefore, I think it's really important for you to actually establish what is the best route forward for you in the terms of trading. Are you going to focus on comics? Okay, great. There's going to be an 8.5% transaction fee, everything that you do there. Are you focusing on DC? Then yeah, great. You're going to have a 2.5%. I think it's important to establish what you are going to be focused on more so than others, purely based on profit. If you're someone who has quite a lot of gems, you're more likely going to be able to focus on the things like the Disney stuff. And as of right now, they tend to have the bigger ROI purely because of how significant they actually are. It's not to say the DC stuff don't, because Todd and Riso and actually all of the Batman Black and White series moved significantly in the last run-up. So it's not to say that the 2.5% should be out the window by any means for you, but it is an important thing to take note of, especially in the beginning, because if you're trying to just build up a little bit by time, it's going to be quite hard for you to actually move forward with that. Final thing I'm going to be covering today is the taking profit aspect of it. In the plan that you have, you're going to have times where it's not reaching a sell order or it's not reaching the place that you're wanting to go. But at the end of the day, profit is profit. There was a lot of times in the very beginning of my Veve journey where I took about 0.3 of a gem in profit from some of the trades that I was making. And although that might seem so insignificant in the beginning, marginal gains always lead to better results. And because I was taking that one step forward each day, I've now been able to get Todd and Partners and Ultra Rare Steamboat in my vault due to those trades. Now, it's not to say that was the be-all and end-all of making the 0.3 gems on one trade or the 0.5 gems on one trade or 1 gem on one trade, but they all really do add up. And I don't want you to feel that you need to make 150 gem profit on every single trade, because it's just not really possible. Everything is about marginal gains in this space. Small movements forward as you learn more and develop your knowledge in what you're doing. This is how you're actually going to be able to do what you're wanting to do and get the things in your vault that you're wanting to get. It's going to take time, it's going to be challenging, but definitely not something that you should just bypass purely because you're making a little bit of profit. Those profits add up, and it's important to have in your plan. There's actually another thing I want to add on just quickly, and that's about making a habit of learning the market, or just learning something when it comes to Veve or NFTs if you're in the open sort of area each day. Learn something new and actually dedicate yourself to doing so. Either write down on your plan that each day at this time, I'm going to dedicate 10 minutes to understanding what the market's doing today. It might seem really stupid in the beginning, and it might not seem like it's actually doing much, but eventually you're going to start to see patterns and why things move the way they do. We've talked about what the news does on Medium articles, what the news does outer space of movies and TV shows, and we've saw the impact that these can have. And I think it's important when we're trying to really develop ourselves here, make something of this opportunity we have, that we actually use habits to help us here, where we dedicate that time each day, even if it's a small amount, to start to learn how to be better in this space. By all means, you can watch all the YouTube content and listen to all the Twitter spaces, but the best thing that you can do is gain experience for yourself, as that's how you're actually going to move forward. I'd love for you to know what your plan is in the comments. Is there something that you would like to add to this plan that we have right here, or do you feel you're kind of set with what we've talked about today? Be sure to let me know. I know the video on the screen right now will be something you'll love to watch. Have a fantastic day.